And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by Antonio Diaz. And Antonio Diaz writes, oh, wait a second, I lost my spot. Oh, there he is. Antonio Diaz writes, "Hey, gang. I absolutely love Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse and am anxiously awaiting the sequel. Dude, you have no idea how much I love Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I love that movie so much. Anyway, and I'm anxiously awaiting the sequel. Did you see that Joaquim Dos Santos, Kemp Powers, a current Oscar nominee, and Justin K. Thompson have been tapped by Sony to direct the sequel to the feature? I loved the last one, but I find it interesting that they are now bringing in the director of Soul from last year on board. I hope the sequel maintains the zaniness of the first. What are your thoughts?" All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And listen, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is one of these great examples of movies. Like, we love being pleasantly surprised. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was one of those movies I had zero interest in, Rob. Zero.
I know, I remember.
I was not interested in a standalone story about Miles Morales. I understand he's a different universe and all that kind of stuff. I wanted them to just tell Spider-Man cartoon. I saw the first teaser for it, and I thought, this animation looks like ass. This animation doesn't look good. Just seeing a little glimpse of it, I didn't like the animation. I'm like, this movie's going to suck. And it ended up being my number 3 favorite movie of the year. Not number 3 comic book movie of the year. Rob, I put this movie as my number 1 comic book movie of the year over Black Panther and over Infinity War. That's how much I like this movie. And I thought it was going to suck. And I ended up loving it so much. And so I've been very anxiously awaiting them to get moving on this sequel. And now they've attached not 1, not 2, but 3 directors, which is odd. Normally, when you hear about 2 directors, they're usually brothers. I mean, we've got 5 or 6 sets of brothers out there directing, but they've got 3 brothers sets, or three different dudes directing this thing, and they've all got very interesting backgrounds. This is over at Deadline, and this is what we get here. Well, the crew. Let's move down here so we can start talking about these guys. Okay. Here we go. We'll start with this. Okay, so Dos Santos previously directed, starting here. He previously directed, produced, and storyboarded on numerous animated series, including The Legend of Korra, Avatar, The Last Airbender, Voltron, Legendary Defender, which I know a lot of people like, Justice League Unlimited, and Teen Titans for Warner Brothers. He began his career at Sony Pictures Television 20 years ago, working on such animated series as Roughneck, The Starship Troopers Chronicles, and Men in Black, the series. Another director, a Golden Globe Award-winning and Academy Award-nominated screenwriter, playwright, and producer and director, Powers recently penned Regina King's feature debut, One Night in Miami, which was amazing, by the way, which was an adaptation of his acclaimed play, also co-directing and writing on Disney Pixar's Best Animated Feature nominee, Soul. Previously, Powers wrote for CBS All Access's, now Paramount's Disney Plus's Star Trek, or Paramount Plus series Star Trek Discovery. Thompson, the third of the trio, recently served as a production designer for the original Spider-Man verse film, earning an Annie Award for his work as well as an Art Directors Guild Award nomination. Previously, he designed Sony Pictures Animation's Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, I love that movie, and its sequel. Prior to his time at Sony, Thompson worked at the Orphanage Animation Studio, the Jim Henson Company, and Lucasfilm Animation. So you've got a triumvirate of 3 very qualified, decorated guys with a lot of impressive credits. I still think it's an interesting choice to have 3 directors on a movie. I can't, honestly, Rob, I can't remember the last time I heard of 3 directors being on a movie. I'm sure it's happened in Hollywood history. I can't think of when it happened. I don't know what the philosophy was behind trying to get 3 different guys. Normally, you don't even see 2 unless they're siblings. I mean, Neville Dean and Taylor is the only directing duo I can think of that aren't siblings that were able to work together on more than a couple of films. So that's interesting. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit nervous about that decision, even though I think all 3 guys clearly have great pedigree. They clearly do. I just don't know that you can have 3 different voices pulling a movie in different directions. That being said, Lord and Miller are still the producers of record on this movie. They're still kind of overseeing the development of it, and we trust them. And I love the first film, so I'm hoping for good things. Rob, you hear about the addition of these 3 guys directing the next Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. I'm a little concerned, but how do you feel about it?
Well, I have a theory why there's three different directors.
Ooh.
I think that obviously it's a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. I think in addition to the multiple Spider-Men, we are going to get three very different kinds of animation. And whether it's Miles Morales is going into three different universes himself, they're going to try different styles. And each director is going to be in charge of whatever style of animation that is.
I love that idea.
To me, it's because otherwise, you just kind of are repeating yourself. But if you think about, like, we also had a trailer for the Netflix series, what is it? Sex, Death, and Robots, or Love, Death, and Robots. That series, the season 2 dropped, which, by the way, looks incredible. The idea of having multiple kinds of animation allows for many different possibilities, just in terms of visually and the kind of storytelling. And I think it's going to make for a really intriguing kind of movie. Now, I have no insider information about this. People are like, well, Rob, you're working on an animated show. Do you know something? I do not. I have no clue. But I would just say that I thought about it myself. Why would you put what? Three directors would seem to be at odds unless the movie was designed that way from the get-go, and they've already decided they know exactly what they're doing, and these three directors were picked specifically because they're going to deliver something unique. And how unique would that make the movie? It's not just a sequel; it's something that's audacious from a animation perspective, not just a storytelling perspective. And how often do you get that? So I'm excited if that's in fact. I'm excited because I love the movie, but I don't think Lord and Miller are going to allow anything other than something awesome to get made. And I think part of that is to have three different animation styles.
Well, when you consider the different characters and everything, you could almost make it an anthology kind of movie with three different stories in there and three different directors. Now, of course, I got a text from my buddy reminding me of something. And I immediately refuted him, but I'm sorry. So we knew that Peter Ramsey and Rodney Rothman directed the first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I forgot there was a third director on that one too, in the form of Bob Precedent. I had totally forgotten about that. So this is actually, I remember that these two, I totally forgot about this one. So I totally forgot that there were three directors on the first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So by the way, thank you, Mike, for texting me that. There were three directors on it. So maybe they just figure if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I still find it odd though. Because when you understand the role of the director, it's amazing when two directors like a Lord and Miller, a Russo brothers, a Neville Dean and Taylor, when you get two directors who can work really well together on a film and not make the film feel like it's being pulled in two different directions. Three is interesting, but the first one did it, so I guess they feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Go back and do that again. Look, all I know is this. I am incredibly stoked to see a second Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Like I said, I like it more than most people do. Like I said, I ranked it higher. I think it's a better movie than Infinity War or Black Panther, and I love both those movies. I love them. But I just thought Spider-Verse was a special, character-centric, incredibly fun, exciting, world-building kind of movie done in a really unique and wonderful way that I just had a blast with, and I hope they're able to bring that same type of temperature to the next one. Anyway, question is for you guys. How do you feel about this, that they're moving on now with Into the Spider-Verse 2, three new directors, still under Lord and Miller? What are your hopes for it? Jump on down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.